Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Notes in the Margins with Dr. Karen McGregor. I'm Dr. Karen McGregor. Today, I am doing something different on my channel. I have brought in a special guest, and so I did a video call with my friend and colleague, Justin Thomason, who is the Assistant Director of Residential Life at Central Michigan University. He is one of my favorite thought partners and intellectual friends. We are good colleagues, and we recently presented together at South by Southwest EDU. I'm bringing him on the channel during the Unreasonable Hospitality series because ultimately he's the person who introduced me to the book. And also, he's the person who introduced me to the idea of having my own YouTube channel and sharing my ideas with you all. And so I wanted to bring him on here as a special guest and let you get the feeling of what a Justin Karen conversation is like, minus some of the awkwardness of it being recorded. And so here we go.
So I am joined by Justin Thomason, who will introduce himself, and I will recap it later. Go for it, Justin.
Okay, thanks. So thank you for having me on your YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be a part of this, and I feel like I am one of your biggest fans. I watch every video that you do. So yeah, just excited to be a part of this. So for everyone else, my name is Justin Thomason. Currently, I am the Assistant Director of Residence Life at Central Michigan University. And I would say my expertise is just in listening to the people that I oversee and then working vigorously to improve their experience to make sure that they're well, processes are in place so they can thrive and support the students that they work with.
That's awesome. Okay, so here it's time to get into 3 questions. Are you ready for your 3 questions?
I think so.
So question number 1 is, this book, you told me to read it. So that's why I read this book. So why did you tell me to read this book?
So when I was thinking about this question, I don't remember telling you to read the book. What I do remember is that we have this natural rhythm in our relationship where we ask each other, what are you reading? And so from what I can remember, you asked me that question and I gave you 2 or 3 books. And so I feel like this says more about you, Karen, than it does about the book. But based on what I shared about the 3 books, you chose Unreasonable Hospitality. Based on where you were at the time, something that I described resonated with you. And I think that that is something that I admire about you. You picked the book that you needed based on what I had shared about it. But to fairly answer your question, I have gifted this book to quite a few other people that work in the service industries, nonprofit, community service, things like that. And I give it to people because I think that more people, I just believe that people in positions of influence need to start thinking about seeing people, not just serving them. And that's something that this book gave me, and I wanted to share with others.
I love that. So at the time, we were starting a new team together. And so I think that probably was part of it, was to think about how we create this space for our students. Also, I love fine dining. And so probably it resonated with me. I would love to get that background. So, okay, so question number 2. Since you've been gifting this book to everybody, what resonates with you from this book over and over again?
Yeah, systems. I don't think that the philosophy of seeing customers or students is a new or unique philosophy even. I think the book really, what stands out to me from the book is just the systems. And so when I was reading the book, it was like Will building a process that starts before guests even arrived, right? Like Will's staff was learning who was coming in from their name, figuring out what matters to them, what might make their night unforgettable. And it's not like a random acts of kindness thing, like it's intentional infrastructure around human connection. And so I do think that we do something similar in our work philosophies. Um, like philosophies of seeing the student is easy to say, but where is the system that makes sure that every time, um, you know, where is the system that makes sure that that happens? We're seeing the student, whether or not I'm in the room. I can't be the leader. I can't be doing it one conversation at a time. And that's kind of really where it gets bigger than just my building, my complex, and maybe your classroom or what you're serving. I think that when we talk to students or when we talk about students and mental health, we tend to think of it as like a funnel. So how do we get more students in front of more professionals? And like that matters for sure, but I feel like a more powerful question is how do we widen the circle of people who know how to make someone feel seen? And so, like, what I know to be true is when you give someone the tools to create a meaningful moment for another person, both of those parties are changed and impacted for the better. So, like, the student feels seen, but also like the RA or the RHD or the success coach, they walk away with a sense of purpose, feeling like they made a difference. Their presence mattered. And so I'm looking at this from a couple different fronts of not just helping the receivers, but just creating that infrastructure. And I think, like, to use Tony Horton as an example, and I might be aging myself here, but Tony Horton was a personal trainer who wanted to change lives, but he only had so many hours in the day. So he built a system, and that system, if you don't know, it was called P90X. If you don't know P90X, like maybe
Yeah.
you're living under a rock or I'm just aging myself. But Tony Horton changed so many lives that he won't even know that he's touched. So that's kind of the same question that I'm asking in my work. Like, if I truly want to impact students' mental health, their sense of belonging, the experience on campus, I can't be doing it one question at a time, one conversation at a time. I have to build systems where students feel like they belong and aren't just accommodated.
I like that. I've also done the P90X specifically and Ripper X. So totally get that. Changed my life for the better, maybe, or for the more painful. All right. So last question. I posted a video about this, earlier in the series on LinkedIn, and you said, I love that book, which we already knew. I use it every day, which I thought was pretty bold statement, sir. So how are you using this book every day?
Yeah, the book ruined me, and I mean that as a compliment. It's like when you experience something premium, it's like you can't go back to what you were doing before. So I can't really walk through a process anymore or have an experience without asking myself, like, is this hospitality or is this service? How do I feel in this situation? So I feel like I'm just constantly analyzing wherever I go. But I bring that to work. So I can share a work example and I can share a personal example. So at work, I oversee the Tower Success Center. And that Success Center, a part of that job is to manage the bookings for the Towers area. So registered student organizations can come fill out a form, request a space so they can do an event. Outside vendors, campus partners can request a space or tabling outside in the desk area. And so when I think about that process, we have a form that they fill out. We do our best to accommodate everything that they need based on that form, and then we send them a reservation confirmation. But when I start to think about, like, putting on for the city, what these registered student organizations are creating a better environment. They're creating experiences for the students in the Towers complex. How can I appreciate them for doing that? So it's just adding some simple things like with that realization of, hey, in our form, who is going to be tabling? Is it John? Great. We're going to make a card that says John and put it on the table to welcome John and thank John for bringing his organization, showing up, putting on for the Towers community. We appreciate you. It doesn't cost anything, but I feel like it changes how they feel when they are here in the Towers. And I think that should permeate to the students that are interacting with them as well. So that's just one small way that I utilize that for work, but there's system after system that I'm trying to implement and integrate some of that stuff.
So I really like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's sort of like when you walk into a restaurant and you see a reserved card on the table for you, or maybe if you were at the airport and someone had a sign with your name on it, you just feel like, oh wow, I'm a big deal. So that's really
Right.
cool. I
Yeah.
love that you're making people feel like a big deal. That's good. Okay, so you said you'd give a personal example too. What do you got?
Yeah. Oh gosh. So when we were newer in the community, my wife and I were like having friends over for the first time. And I was just, after reading that book, was trying to figure out a way to do more than just host them. And what I had come up with is, can we talk about vodka for just a second? I infused a bottle of vodka with something called butterfly pea flower. And what butterfly pea flower does to the vodka and other liquids, because it is actually a tea, is it changes it to this beautiful blue color. But what's cool about that is when you add citrus to it, it like magically changes color to purple. And so I basically did this before they arrived. When they came, I handed it to them and said, I made this for you. And then they took it home. But like a few nights later, they sent us a video of them actually using it. And they also said like they posted it on social media. And it's like that little bit of extra thought created a space for them to later create more memories together. They shared that memory with us. They shared that memory with their friends. And that gesture is beyond me now. And so I think that is literally the point. That's the whole point in the meaning, is just to create memories, to share memories. And so that's a personal example.
All right. I love that too. I'm waiting for my bottle. So anyway, that is great. So I'm really glad that you were able to share your perspectives on the book, why it's been meaningful to you, and how you use it every day. So I appreciate you coming on my channel, and I'll bring you back when it's relevant. So I hope you have a really great day.
All right. Thanks so much, Karen.
Okay, now I'm gonna stop the recording.
Thank you all for joining me to have this conversation with me and Justin. I hope you enjoyed the insights that he brought and just his unique takes on the book. Some of them really aligned with mine so far, and some of them just kind of take it into a really personalized experience, just his own takes, which is wonderful. I hope you all have a Justin, and by that I mean a thought partner who will share in your intellectual pursuits with you. So that's my margin question today. Do you have a Justin in your life? Do you have a thought partner? And if not, where could you find one? I hope you do, and I will see you in the margins.